Hello, hello, hello. Here we are. Let's do that over again. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Shoe Snob video series, One Take Wonders. Here we are with something slightly different today. We have a new setup. I'm always trying new things, always trying to improve, always trying to talk about topics I think people are questioning them on Google, wondering what's this versus that, or things I just find that I know are wrong. And I feel like I need to help educate, because when you say the wrong thing, you might teach somebody else the wrong thing. And that's how bad information gets spread around the world like that these days with the power of the internet. So something that's always bothered me, and I don't know why, maybe I'm easy to bother, but the idea of spats versus button boots, they're not the same thing. They're vastly different. They are similar in concept, but two completely different ideas. So let's take a look at those, and hopefully I can help shed some light on the difference between them. All right, so let's talk about what a spat is. A spat is an accessory that was common in the Edwardian Victorian era, back when there was no concrete, pavement, however you want to call it, in the streets, and there was mud. So they made these often in felt accessories that you could place over your footwear, whether it's a shoe or a boot, as a way to protect that lacing part, which might have been in white suede or white leather or whatever, from the mud. Now, it might seem silly because the mud was sloshing around everywhere and you're going to get dirty anyways, but those were the times, and that's what they had. So this spat that you place on top of your shoe and button was an added accessory. You don't find these so often these days, but they're still available if you look hard enough. This is how they look when placed on top of your boots. You see they strap on the bottom all the way around, and then you button them similar to a button boot, but this is what is called a spat. So the spat lays on top of your footwear to protect the lacing area. And then when you cover the trouser, when the trouser covers the shaft part, you could think it was a two-tone button boot. In fact, I don't wear these spats enough. I should. They're actually pretty cool. And I like how long down they go. So then, probably from now, I don't know, and this might be, something nobody could really tell us which one came first, but then the idea of the button boot came, most likely derived from the look of the spat on top of an Oxford boot or an Oxford shoe. And then you have the button boot. So the button boot was mimicking the spat without the strap, just comes as one style, mimicking the spat on top of the, sorry, it's the wrong side, but mimicking the spat on top of the, lower part of the shoe or boot to create that look, but all in one boot. Now, a real button boot, a proper button boot, has functioning buttons. These have to be taken on and off, or unfastened and refastened, which can be quite daunting for those of you that don't like to spend much time putting on your shoes. But there are things called button hooks that help make this easier. But anyway, button boots they've had a resurgence. No small thanks part to my brand, who loved button boots. Years ago, I loved the idea of the Victorian style and era, and I love button boots, and only two shoemakers in the world sold them. One Japanese brand called Campechina or Perfetto out of Japan. You could only get them in Japan and maybe in Paris, and then another brand called Aubercy, who still exists in Paris and still sells button boots. But at that time, 10 years ago, you had to either go to Japan or go to Paris to get a pair. So I said, no, I want to make these accessible, and I created the button boot. And we sell them in an array of colors and combinations, and they've been quite popular, believe it or not. A boot that is really unpractical and uncommon, but you know what? It's cool, and it's great for events, and you'll always get compliments when you wear it. So the button boot is a very unique, different style of shoe. Again, not the most practical, for being really honest, but cool nonetheless. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to tell you and show you the difference between a button boot and a spat that sits on top of the shoe. These are not the same. The spat is an accessory that you buy in various colors, shapes, forms, whatever. The button boot comes as one piece. They both share buttons, but have different functionalities. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do stay tuned for more. Subscribe to my Patreon if you appreciate what I do and want to help with a small financial donation. Please subscribe, like, share, and thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.